How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Another BMW video for you guys today. I'm going to take the intake apart, or at least open it up, check it out, and see what we can do for aftermarket stuff. So we're going to go open it up and see what we're looking at, because I honestly haven't even opened it or anything, and just having a time. I'm also going to check the oil while we're at it and give it a little cold start, because it's been, a week since it's been put away. So might as well get it a little started, get some heat running through the engine. But we're gonna open it up, see what we need. If we need any parts, I think the case will just pop open, so we won't really have too many issues. Might as well grab some tools just in case. Now, of course, the heat's gonna come on. All right, so we just popped the latch, and you're gonna step in and find the hood latch, which is located on the side right here. So I can open it up. There we go. Get this thing opened up. I honestly am really impressed at how clean this engine bay is and how I've managed to keep it pretty clean. So yeah, this is the engine bay, and of course we got the intake sitting right here. So this is missing right there, and then the intake is sitting right under here. So we're gonna see if we can open it up. I don't want to break anything. I also don't really know what I'm doing. So yeah, give me a second here, and I'm gonna try to see what I can do. So this is the intake right now, and of course this is basically emptied out. Obviously it's got the area where it actually feeds into the motor itself. So that's the intake, and obviously it's coming from, if we do look, it's getting the air in from right there, I do believe. So basically coming through here and then coming through the kidney grill in return, so through the right kidney grill and through there, and then coming into here. So this is the stock intake for the car. The aftermarket intakes I'll show you guys in a second, but basically they look like an intake you would expect, aftermarket intake with just the one tube coming in. So all of this would basically be gone. This plastic piece wouldn't be sitting here, and there would just be the intake facing down right here. So that's a pretty easy mod, but then again, I know absolutely nothing about what I'm doing, but I think I'm gonna do it. Now I just have to find the correct intake for an E36 M3, find what the best option is for it, and then we'll go from there. We're gonna do a little bit of research on camera right now, and I also need a strut bar that goes across, and maybe some chassis bracing as well. I do want to do that. Strut bar is 100% gonna happen this winter, but I'm not sure about the intake. I'm looking into it. So yeah, let's go inside, and then we'll check out the parts. Alright, so we have a couple of different options I can go with. So now this would just be replacing the filter, right? So this is a high performance filter, rewashable, reusable. So this filter right here, this blue one I'm looking at, or even this one, they're both the same, I believe. We can check the differences. They're the same prices. Let's go with the blue one. This one's about $80 for this filter, and I do imagine this would create some type of difference, because I think my filter needs to be replaced either way. Honestly, I don't know the last time that was replaced. Obviously I've had the car for 2 years. I never did that yet, so maybe it is time for me to get one of these. This would be $80. I'm not sure what type of differences this would make in the car. Obviously I could do a little bit more research, and I'm going to off camera, but we could also go with one of these. This would just be swapping it out, super easy. Now what I was thinking is to do one of these, which would be a cold air intake system. So if we go here, this one is $300 for the system. I wouldn't go too that fancy, but this is all carbon fiber. So you've got the new intake right here. It would take out all the old box, replace it with this, the intake, and then just straight feed into the motor this way. It looks really nice. Obviously I want to buy a high performance part and a nicer part rather than just having a cheap part on my car. So something like this would be the other option, which would be replacing the entire system with this. We have the K&N performance intake system. This one is $336. Now again, I'm not sure on how much I want to spend on this, how much I'm going to spend, and what kind of filter I'm going to get. I want the best part for I don't really care about money necessarily. I just want a good part for decent performance. Obviously, I'm not going, twin turbo, supercharged, or anything like that in my car. I just want to do some basic stage 1 stuff, and first thing I want to do would be a filter, an exhaust, and then a little bit of an ECU tune if possible, but an exhaust for the sound, an intake for the slight performance, and getting the engine a little bit more cool. This one has a 8 horsepower estimated gain at 3600 RPM. This would fit my car, I do believe, because E36 M3, and then this is the S52 motor, 3.2. I have the S52 in my car. I'm not sure why it doesn't say Z3 because it has the same model, but it is the same motor as this. It is the S52 3.2 liter that is in my car. In the other intake, it did say that it fits in the M Roadster. So again, this one says E36 M3 with the S52, and I'm gonna obviously do a little bit more research. This one has a 12 horsepower gain at 600 RPM, 6,000 RPM, excuse me, and then we have 11 pound-feet of torque estimate. So pretty interesting. Something to think about for sure. I'm obviously making this video because if anyone is out there who's experiencing any of this, so feel inclined to comment down below, you can do that, but also because I want to make this to kind of look back on it after I do buy the intake and all of that, and see everything I was considering, maybe end up swapping it out. If I do go with the basic one, later on I might go with these systems, the cold air systems, if I do just go with a normal filter swap. So that is definitely the thing. We'll definitely look into the exhaust in a little bit here also. So about $300 for a cold air system wouldn't be too bad. I had a cold air system in my Audi TT that sounded absolutely insane with the turbo. This car is obviously naturally aspirated, but I feel like it would still sound really good, adding a little bit of extra noise because you do hear a lot of the motor. So it'd be interesting to do a cold air system with the exhaust and just completely transform the way the car sounds with a little bit of extra horsepower. So this car was rated at 240 horsepower, I believe, but there's no way that this car is only 240 horsepower. BMW obviously likes to make their numbers a little bit smaller because they didn't want to have the S52 compete with the M3 at the time with the 300 horsepower. So I feel like this car is making around 300. It would be interesting to take it to the dyno, but after I do get the exhaust, which should take out a lot of weight, and then after I get rid of the old intake, and if I go with these 12 horsepower, I feel like we'll be making 300 horsepower 100%, if not more. So just doing a little bit of research, the car said with bolt-ons you can make around 320-ish horsepower. So yeah, I'm going to go with the cars making around 370, somewhere in there, because it doesn't feel like 240. 240 horsepower isn't that much, and my Audi had about 300 something horsepower, and this car is way faster than that car is. So I'm unsure of how much horsepower I'm actually making. I guess we'll have to dyno it after I do a little bit of stage 1 stuff to it, but 300 something horsepower, and I'm not going to complain if we can get to the 300 number, officially 300 number, based off of the numbers. 12 horsepower from that brings me to about 255-ish horsepower, roughly in there, and then get an exhaust maybe 20 horsepower, so 280-ish with the ECU tune, bringing up to 300. That'd be stage 1 with the bolt-ons, and maybe do a little bit more in the exhaust, making a little bit more power. Unsure, but make sure you guys stay tuned for that. Other than that, I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video.